Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today on this episode, let's talk about fishing cypress trees because I'm on this lake that I haven't been to before, and I'm really excited to be here because it is full of cypress trees. The lake is called Horseshoe Lake. It's an oxbow off of the Mississippi River, an old landlocked oxbow. And man, it is full of these cypress trees, and I love fishing cypress trees. And there's really two primary scenarios that I will choose cypress trees over all other types of cover when they are going on. And you can catch fish around cypress trees all year round, but there are definitely some situations that are better than others for fishing cypress trees. And so the two that I want to talk about today really revolve around the spring and two different types of spawns. All right, so the first one is, of course, the bass spawn. Cypress trees are the perfect type of cover, or really also structure. They're almost like an extension of the bottom, and essentially present similar qualities to just actual structure, like rocky areas and things like that. It provides the perfect hard bottom type area for spawning activity, but also the way that the trunks grow, they grow in this kind of fashion where they kind of splay out. They kind of create these little triangular pockets against the base of the tree. And whenever you have a situation like that, where a bass can build a bed at the base of the tree and protect just what's in front of it, as opposed to having to protect 360 degrees of their bed, that is what a bass searches out, because all a bass wants to do is be able to build a bed next to some type of cover, put their back to that cover, and focus on protecting what's in front of them. And a cypress tree presents one of the best scenarios for a bass to be more efficient at protecting its bed. So, during the bass spawn, I definitely love fishing cypress trees. And one of the things that I look for, there's actually a few things. When it comes to fishing cypress trees, it's all about finding the right stretches of cypress trees. And for me, during the bass spawn, it's about finding those cypress that are real protected from a north wind specifically, and they also are pretty shallow. Something in the 2-foot range is really what I'm going to be looking for. And I'm gonna be looking in pockets and bays and things like that. And when it comes to fishing these cypress trees, when the fish are spawning around them, really, the same type of tackle that you're gonna be using in other spawning situations, slow moving, bottom bouncing baits that stay in the strike zone longer, that you can crawl into those beds, are gonna be key. So Texas rig worms, jigs, wacky rigs are really good. Anything where you can keep that bait in the strike zone longer is going to be key. A couple years ago, I was fishing the bass spawn at Pickwick Lake, fishing cypress trees, and I was just pitching up palmetto bugs to the base of the tree and just slowly just dragging it out. No hops, just dragging it back to the boat, and that's how I caught all my fish. And so it's all about moving slow and finding those protected areas where those bass like to spawn. Just imagine the cypress trees aren't even there. Just look for good spawning areas that are protected, and then find areas that also have cypress trees, and you got a winning combination during the spawn. The second scenario that is really a absolute lights out killer for fishing cypress trees is the shad spawn. Right now we've got the shad spawn going on, so I'm kind of on this main lake stretch of cypress trees, and these shad are spawning in the shade. Usually the shad spawn only lasts for the first hour of the day, but if you can find some shady areas, it'll continue out through the middle of the day. And so cypress trees are the perfect type of cover for shad to spawn around too. And it's not like shad are actually making beds and laying their eggs. Shad actually use kind of a scatter, strategy, where they're essentially just swimming around hard targets and just, letting their eggs fly, just spraying them around all over the place. And they have very adhesive eggs, so the eggs will actually stick to hard cover until they hatch. And cypress trees are a perfect scenario for that, just like you know, it is for the bass spawn. You know, the shad will gang up at the base of the cypress trees. They'll lay their eggs, they'll fertilize the eggs, and they'll, you know, take off. And so whenever you see shad, you know, splashing in groups against cypress trees, hang on, man. Pick up a spinnerbait, pick up some type of top water like a popper or something like that, chatterbait, a swim jig, a crankbait, but especially a spinnerbait like this. That is going to be a scenario where you're going to be able to load the boat. Now, again, it can get a little bit frustrating when it comes to the shad spawn too, because even if the shad are there, that doesn't mean that there's going to be fish there. You have to find the right stretches, and usually I'm looking for banks that have a little bit steeper contours, so the water doesn't go that far behind the cypress trees. You know, in spawning areas, the water may go way into a cypress tree flat, but as you can see here, the cypress only, or the water only goes a little bit behind this line of cypress trees because the contours are steeper, and that's the perfect scenario. In fact, they're spawning right behind me right now. But anyways, guys, those are just two major scenarios that you need to pay attention for, and if you see them, you gotta go fish some cypress trees if you got them in the lake that you're fishing. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this topic. Do you agree with my assessment of this great type of cover, or do you disagree? I'd love to hear your perspective on it. Other than that, I'd really appreciate it if you guys consider donating to St. Jude through the link that I have in the description below. Of course, you may know my daughter is going to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital being treated for neuroblastoma cancer, and it is the most worthy cause that I could possibly imagine, and I'm trying to raise money for our team. My buddy Scott and I are fishing the Dick Hiley Bass Classic, which is a St. Jude benefit tournament, very soon. So if you want to donate, anything will help. Check out the link in the description below, and I appreciate you guys in advance for donating. Other than that, make sure you like, share, subscribe. I'm going to see you out on the water. Always trust the process.